So in this episode of WoW, we had big challenges, we had raps and bars, we had tag team wrestling, and of course we got a little bit of revenge thrown in there too. This is Steph and Kat Talk WoW.
Yeah, yeah. Making her way to the mic. They start dimming the lights. You start feeling alright. From Birmingham, home of the Teddy Longs and the Ruben Studders. More once you discover. For all of the lovers of Whitney Houston and Roman Reigns. For all of the lovers of Mickey James and Marvin Gaye. For all of the lovers of Sasha Banks, Janelle Monáe, Silk, Sonic, and Paige. Allow me to say, look, I just found a place, sweet escape. Every one of us, I was kinda late, so I just made it off the struggle bus. Walking by the faith, cause I know it's right in front of.
Hey y'all, welcome to a new episode of Steph and Kat Talk WoW, brought to you by the Hardy Wrestling Podcast and In Cat We Trust. Of course, I'm your girl Stephanie Hardy, host and creator of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast, color commentator featured on the Belladonna Division Battle Club Pro, Black Girl Magic 2022, and Spartan Wrestling, and contributing writer for Daily DDT. And of course, I am not alone. I am with my tag team partner, creator of In Cat We Trust, creator of the Women of Color in Wrestling panel, and just an amazing person and super mom, and also a writer for Daily DDT. She is Katrina Blake. How are you, Kat?
I am well. It's been a very hectic day. And I apologize for us moving to Wednesday. Internet was doing some weird stuff, guys. And so my apologies. It was definitely on me. But I am happy to be here. Happy to talk some WoW. We got some great matches this past weekend.
Yeah, we really did. We had a lot of great matches, lots of continuing storylines that kept going as well. So it was just a pretty, solid, really great episode of WoW. And of course, if you are watching us live on Twitter, on either one of our Twitters, on either one of our YouTubes and Facebooks, thank you guys so much for watching, and continue to like, share, and subscribe if you love WoW superheroes. And of course, if you loved any parts of the episode or any parts of WoW, please chime in the comments, and you will, or you might wind up on the screen depending on how the conversation goes. So yeah, this episode of WoW was pretty special. But before we get into the episode proper, we do have a little bit of WoW news to discuss. On this week, we had two of the WoW superheroes show up on KCAL News in Los Angeles to promote the live tapings that they're having next week at the Belasco Theater. And the superheroes came in the form of Genesis from Team Exile and Foxy Fierce with a new, beautiful, and fresh afro. Oh my God, when I saw this afro, it gave me everything that I needed. Last month, I actually celebrated an anniversary. I believe it's been 11 years since I went natural. And I love my afro, even though sometimes I do other things with my hair. My hair has just been natural for that long. And so anytime I see Black women with afros like that, that's luscious and healthy, it just makes me want to just continue to, be healthy with my hair. And Genesis definitely look beautiful, because normally we see her like with a back do and an updo with like a hump like on the in like the top of her head. But this time she had a different do and had sort of a sleek look, but she looked absolutely gorgeous. Both women looked amazing, and I was really happy to see Foxy Fierce, because we've seen a lot of Genesis and Exile in this half of the second season, but we have not seen a lot of Foxy. So that was really cool to see them continuing to promote the live show. And like I said, of course, they were promoting WoW's live tapings, which are taking place at the Belasco Theater in Los Angeles on December 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. And you can still get your tickets if you are in the Los Angeles area. You can go on wowe.com and buy your tickets there and just go see a show, because of course the shows that they put on are absolutely amazing. And of course, they also love being interactive with the fans. So if you go to the show, it's more than likely you might wind up on screen or on an episode, and then we might point you out and see you. So definitely go see WoW now live. The shows are amazing, and I do love that Genesis and Foxy were there promoting it. I wish I could go, but distance and time and money and things. But it's just really great. So, Katrina, how do you feel about them going on the news to promote their shows? Because this isn't the first time they've done anything like this. This is probably about maybe the third or fourth time.
I think it's cool. I one Foxy looked absolutely fantastic, absolutely fantastic. This is not to say that Genesis didn't, because she did, but like I'm like, yes, I love me some Foxy, and I've missed her, and so it was kind of good to see her stunningly promoting the fact that they will be doing live tapings. I do wish we was able to be there. One of the WoW superheroes apparently thought we lived in California. I had to say, no, we definitely do not live there. I live across the country, and so yeah, and so Candy, shout out to you. It was I guess she thought I'm like, oh no, we was visiting last year, and so she hopes
Oh.
for us to see them again live soon, and yes, fingers crossed we can make that happen. But it was just really good to kind of see um that aspect of just they still I love that they have different ways of trying to get more people in, and I like that we have these tapings with like more of an intimate kind of like NXT style crowd when it's more of an intimate setting, and I feel like sometimes that's necessary for wrestling shows to kind of just where sometimes not, and this is no shade to anything that gets really big. Obviously it's great when you have a whole bunch of fans and it's crazy and it's over the top and larger than life, but there's also something nice about an intimate setting, and so it was very nice to see. And I just hope, I can't wait to see what we get, TV wise from these tapings that's going to happen over next week.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it TV wise either. I can't believe Candy thought we really did. Candy Crush, the gatekeeper of WoW, really thought we lived in California. Oh, that is just the sweetest thing ever. I wish we did, because if we did, we'd be closer to them. Oh my God. But yeah, we got to gather up our coins, because it's a cross country trip for the both of us. More so for Katrina than me, because, I live in Alabama. So it's cross country, but it's cross country differently for her. So, oh my God, like we do have to put our coins together and go to a WoW taping at some point. Like we've got to make it happen. It's been too long. I love my ladies so much. We got to go. But yeah, they both looked fantastic here. So of course, if you're in the LA area, please go see them. Go see them. Go in the audience, be as loud and as supportive as you can for these ladies. And you never know, you might wind up on television. So in the comments, we have Isaac saying, hey, thank you for watching on YouTube. He's saying, hey, ladies, so glad that the mother truckers got their revenge. And Big Rig Betty reminds me of ODB from TNA. Wow, that's a really good comparison there, Eric. And honestly, we're going to get to that revenge match a little bit later in the show, but I'm glad you're watching and I'm glad you mentioned it. And he also said that he misses Foxy on WoW TV, and I hope that she comes back soon. Well, it's definitely safe to assume that she will come back since she was, promoting it and everything. Of course, December is wrapping up pretty soon, which is scary to think about, because it just started. But Christmas is happening around the corner, and then you'll go into the new year, and then we'll have newer episodes. So I'm sure Foxy will be on there pretty soon. So we could have more of her black girl magic on there as well, and then we could get more of the toughness from Genesis, who we'll talk about later on as well. But then more in WoW news, something interesting happened in terms of stats being released. Now, a lot of places, a lot of wrestling places get their stats from WrestleNomics, and his name is Brandon Thurston. And we have to give a shout out to him because all of the numbers that he releases every other month or even every other week are usually spot on most of the time when it comes to the science and the numbers of wrestling and the ratings and the viewership of things and stuff like that. So he released like an entire, I guess you could say like a statistical review of all of the shows and all of their viewership, and also sort of the money, the median income that people make when that wrestling fans make that watch certain shows or whatnot. But something happened that really caught my attention and really caught my heart in a beautiful way. So, numbers wise, they had a pie graph of different cultures and different races of people who watch different wrestling shows. And as it turns out, the biggest amount of African Americans in the United States tune in to WoW Superheroes. That blew my mind. I could not believe it. When I saw like the pie graph, and it actually showed that the highest percentage of Black viewers that watch wrestling watch WoW Superheroes. And it made me kind of emotional just looking at it, because I was just like, oh my God, like, I can't tell you how many times I've heard, from certain people, like, that a number of people either don't watch WoW or don't pay it any attention and stuff like that. But then to turn around and see the growth that WoW has had throughout this year, and then for them to turn out that your people turn out in droves to watch this syndicated wrestling show that's all women, like, that blew my mind to bits, and I just could not believe it. And it made me really emotional, because me and Katrina are two of the Black people who watch WoW every week. And even when we can't watch it on cable, we watch it, digitally. And of course, we bring this show to you every week as well. So it was really a blessing to see that not only Black fans are all over wrestling. Like, there isn't anything that we don't promote or don't love or don't appreciate and aren't passionate for in all of wrestling, period. But the idea that we're definitely showing up for this show just blessed my soul. So, Katrina, how did you feel about figuring out that, all of our people are watching this beautiful show?
I thought it was really good to hear. We are two Black women who happen to watch WoW, and I feel like in general, there's always been the saying that things get moved when Black women do what they need to do. I feel like this is one of those situations that we do what we need to do. And if it means getting the ball rolling on having more people watch it, then that's what we're going to do. I feel like that's just another scenario of us usually being first in line of just doing new things, open like that, just those vibes. And so it was really nice to see that even generally, while just popping up more and more on these rankings, on these ratings, I feel like this is very different from like last year when we were seeing this stuff that it wasn't even really registering too much, and not for us because we watched it, but like for other people. And so it's really nice to see that we're seeing more and more people like, let's check this out. And I have definitely been told by people that they've watched uh started watching because of us. And so it's really nice to know that we have been trying to do our due diligence of making sure people kind of tune in, even if you have to do it later on Pluto, or if you have to do it on YouTube, just because I think it's so many like talented women on WoW and in the locker room. And, again, it's very different wrestling, but different wrestling's okay. And sometimes you don't need the exact same type of formula all the time for something to be successful and for it to work. And so I was very happy when you sent me that. I was like, oh, nice. This is great. So, kudos. And again, hoping going in, as I said, like a few weeks ago, that going into 2024, we'll see more and more WoW popping on more and more rankings and ratings, and more people will watch it by the end of 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it definitely blessed me. And I know when I saw it, Keeks, shout out to her from All Elite Keeks, shared it on Twitter, and she was just like, and I was like, why does this make me emotional? And then she was just like, because you're a part of it. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, it was just really, sweet to see. And I really love it. And even in the moments where in certain comments, people were saying like, I don't know, where to find it. It feels nice, for us to sort of see, comments like that and just say, well, this is where you can watch it. And we have an after show where we talk about it, like we are sort of helping fill that gap in a way that, in a way that, maybe not a lot of people know that much about or would do. And I am just really, blessed to be a part of that number of people who are watching it. And then the report also said that 49% of the viewership is female, whereas 51% is male. So the gap is really being closed, and maybe by next year it'll definitely be like more even. And I am just really glad that us Black people really are showing up for this syndicated show. It's very wonderful that this all female, rostered show is getting these numbers and rising up to, not to compete with these other shows, but then to show that it deserves as much tension and as much love as the other shows do. So congratulations to WoW Superheroes for all of its success in numbers wise this year. And just congratulations to us, Katrina, for keeping it going. And for so many people, who have gotten into WoW because of our show, we thank you for your support, and we appreciate, the love that you guys show us and the love that you show the show, because we talk about the show. It's just amazing all around. So that was just a big blessing. So that's really it for WoW news. And hopefully that's something we can kind of keep going, as the weeks go by with WoW news before we get into the show itself. So now we get into the episode proper. The episode started with the WoW World Champion Princess Aussie coming out to talk more about this championship challenge match that her and David McLane are curating and stuff like that. And so before she starts addressing certain things, Miss Jessie Jones comes out there and interrupts her and says that she has nothing but respect for Princess Aussie and for how she, is putting the title on the line and being a fighting champion. But she mentioned that it doesn't matter who she fights, whether it's Penelope Pink or the Beast or Tormenta. Like, if she has to go through anybody to get that WoW World title, she is willing to do it. And she also mentioned how she has a better, singles record than a lot of the women who are even in the match, and even a better one than Princess Aussie herself. And said that she, knows that if she can continue to keep that momentum going, she can be WoW World Champion. And Princess Aussie kind of took it on the chin, with a level of sportsmanship that a lot of people probably would not have taken in a kind way. They probably would have looked at her and be like, "Oh, so you think you da 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 da?" But that's not what Princess Aussie was doing. Like, she took it in a very chill way. And yeah, like Jessie Jones was just like, I don't have to lowball my way to get into a match. I don't need a manager. I don't need a lawyer. I just need me. And that was just really cool. So David McLane was like, we've already got a match set up for next week, and I can't just make the switch like that. And Jessie was like, oh, but you can make a switch and put me in just like that. And then David said, well, I'll tell you what, Jessie, your next match is against one of the members of Exile Genesis. If you can beat her, you can be a part of what I'm putting together for the championship challenge match. And Jessie said that she wasn't worried about Genesis. And she said, I'm going to beat her, but no offense, I'm going to beat everybody else in that match too. And her and Princess Aussie shook hands at the end of that promo. So that ended that. And there was a lot of other storylines that we go get into when it comes to the rest of the show. But Katrina, how did you feel watching Jessie Jones just sort of steamroll her way out there and just let Princess Aussie know what her intentions were?
I mean, I respect. She did say already she was coming for a title. She wanted a title shot. So I respect that she kind of said it in regard to, like, I'm coming for you. But also I feel like she is a champion, and I feel like, there's a, not that you have to be like extra, well, be respectful, but respectful enough. Princess Aussie hasn't done anything to anybody to deserve that type of response to her coming for the titles. I was like, I mean, okay. She would responded a lot nicer than I would have personally. And so I'm like, okay, well, Jessie, I get it, but also you could say that without saying all this extra stuff. I felt like Princess Aussie kind of took it in stride. But doesn't mean she's gonna win anything. And I feel like that's the, like, Jessie, all that don't mean anything if you don't win, and so, being just a little bit disrespectful about it doesn't mean you're gonna actually take the win. So maybe not be as disrespect. I just felt like she was a little bit disrespectful to a tad. I did. But you know, otherwise, we'll see what goes on with this. But she did say a few weeks ago that that's what she was trying to do, and so I wasn't surprised necessarily. It was more so like, oh, okay. okay, Jessie, this is how we want to play it like this soon. Okay, I mean, I guess, but nothing like super crazy. She wasn't as disrespectful as it probably could have been if it was coming from somebody else, and so we'll see how this goes moving forward.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty insane, but at the same time, Jessie Jones is a girl who's just going to get stuff done on her own, and she's very boisterous about it. And yeah, it might be a little bit tough, and abrasive at times, but at the same time, she gets the job done and she gets her point across the way that she needs to. And that's something that I can appreciate from her, because it's just like when you think of the other women that were brought up, in that match, like Penelope Pink and like the Beast and like, um Tormenta. It's just like they've always used, well, with the exception of the Beast, those other two have always used other means to get their way or to get championship, contendership. But Jessie Jones is just a woman with a will and a way. And honestly, I can definitely respect that. So the fact that they shook hands at the end just shows that Princess Aussie earned her respect, and she didn't have to even jump her to do it. She just like, look, I'm coming to you woman to woman, and letting you know what's going on. And I think that was cool. So, moving into the next segment, we had BK Rhythm and Gigi Gianni backstage prepping for their tag team match. And this was insane because this is going to be here another version of BK's bars. So BK was talking about Spring Break 24/7, and she said, "How are they going to be partying when we're beating them up?" And then Gigi said, "I like that, BK. Are you going to rap and do a diss track to them?" And then BK said, "Maybe I'll drop some bars." And then Gigi said, "Have you ever thought about rapping about me?" And then BK said, "Oh, you want me to? Okay, okay." So, this is my rap voice, so excuse me, y'all. You're a fashionista straight out of a soap opera. So powerful, nobody can stop you. You're ambitious and vicious, and only sometimes your style misses. But not like that. I got your back. We're a pack, Gigi. And this next match is going to be easy. And then Gigi said, I like that, BK. And then BK said, let's go cancel spring break. And that was the end of that. So, yeah, there goes BK's bars. So, Katrina, being the resident hater of BK Rhythm's bars, how did you feel about those, even though she was rapping about her tag team partner?
That wasn't too bad, honestly. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I was like, all right, I will give you a pass this week for the bars that I don't ask for. I will give you a pass. Because she wasn't necessarily being mean or extra. It was more so like a little nice little, hey, tag partner, this for you. And I'm like, all right, I can respect showing some love to your tag partner. That's not bad. And so she gets a pass this week. She gets a pass. This was not one of the bars where I was like, mm, side eye. This is like, all right, well, I don't know how I feel about you always wanting to do drop bars, but you know what? This is not too bad since it's like you're being nice to your partner. Even if you guys are heels, you're not being necessarily rude. And so I'll take it. But that was very hard to say. So,
Oh my God, it's a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. Katrina didn't have anything bad to say about BK's bars. Yes, yes. Oh my God. Oh, this is definitely getting turned into a clip, because this is a moment. This is a moment I never thought would happen. This is a moment, guys. I cannot believe this. Y'all don't understand. Since we've been talking about WoW, Katrina has always had something crazy to say or bad to say about BK's bar. She cannot stand BK's rapping. So for her to say something nice about it is literally like a Christmas miracle, y'all. It's crazy. It's really crazy. But yeah, this led into our first match, which was, of course, the Brat Pack, BK Rhythm and Gigi Gianni versus Spring Break 24/7, who we hadn't seen in a while. And of course, that's Crystal Waters and Sandy Shore. Of course, the last few times we've seen Spring Break 24/7, it's like they usually get beat up by a lot of people, by other tag teams. And it's just like ever since their last defeat, we hadn't really seen them in a while. But now they're back and they're fighting against the Brat Pack. And honestly, I was really rooting for them to win this time, because I was just like, look, this is the second season. Let's shake some stuff up. let's not lose this time. Let's go. And to give them credit where credit is due, athletically, these women were definitely doing a whole lot better rhythm wise with their tag team chemistry and their acrobatics. I was just like, look, y'all can really pull out this upset if y'all win. Like, I was so here for it. It was crazy. Like, of course, there were all the other moments where BK was playing dirty, and Gigi was playing dirty as well by pulling on the hair, stomping on Crystal Waters and Sandy Shores' neck in the corner of the ring and stuff. But literally, like, Crystal Waters and Sandy Shore were doing all kinds of backflips and actually utilizing each other's bodies for different moves, like in that picture right there. Like, I was really here for Spring Break 24/7 getting the victory. Like, I was hoping in my soul of souls that they could win the dang thing. But they didn't, and I was so upset. So Crystal Waters clotheslined Gigi and BK and then hit a DDT onto BK and then tag in Sandy. But then Sandy got thrown out, and then BK and Gigi hit it looked like sort of like a double face crusher / DDT type of thing, and they wound up getting the victory. And I was so devastated. I was just like, oh my God, Spring Break 24/7 almost had it, but BK and Gigi came out with the win. So you just can't help but feel sorry for Spring Break 24/7 here, because they really did try, and they really look like they have been, at the drawing board and getting better, but they just didn't win here. So Katrina, how did you feel about this match, and how did you feel about the performance of Crystal and Sandy?
He tried. I kind of with you that I hoped that they were going to win as well, just because they have been on a bit of a losing streak. With that being said, though, I wasn't necessarily surprised that BK and Gigi won, just because I felt like they've really been in a groove with each other, and I feel like that's what's kind of helped propelling them to win. And I hope it turns around for Spring Break 21st. I really do hope it turns around for them, because they really have been losing a lot more than they should have been. But I wasn't necessarily surprised that they won. But I thought this was a good match, and I thought maybe hopefully going forward more with Spring Break, that they can keep being more in tune with each other, that hopefully will lead them to having a win and not losing again.
Yeah, it was just, oh my God, it was just really crazy. I was really rooting for them so hard. I was just like, come on, ladies, pull out the win, pull it out, pull it out, pull it out. But they just did it. And I was just like, yeah. But hopefully we will see more of them, into, the second half of the season. And it's just like, I just want them to rise above and claw their way up to the tag team, on top of the tag team division, even if that means one day that they challenge the Tonga twins. But, the Brat Pack, they have been a bit on a winning streak here lately, even though they had been challenging and beating up on Coach Campanelli and Ariel Sky. They've sort of taken a break from that because, of course, Team Spirit is going into their tryouts, which we will talk a little bit about in a few minutes. But yeah, it was just an astounding tag team match. It was a good way to start the in action part of the show. But yeah, the Brat Pack have won, and I kind of see them challenging the Tonga Twins next, considering the Tonga Twins did just decisively beat the last call. I would definitely put the Brat Pack next in line to challenge the Tonga Twins for the Wild Tag Team titles. So yeah, big ups to them for that. So like I mentioned earlier, Coach Campanelli and Ariel Sky are still doing their tryouts for Team Spirit to find their next new member. And Coach Campanelli was just giving a speech and talking about, what it means to be a part of Team Spirit and what never giving up means, and how she sort of felt that a lot of the women who were standing there didn't necessarily outright fully impress her, which I thought was kind of unkind to say, but, just go off, Queen. But she was just telling them, never to give up, and just the type of characteristics she's looking for in the new team. And so once she blew her whistle and said, and what are we here for? And then they were like, Team Spirit. And then one of the girls tried to hit a split, but then failed. at it, and the other girls were just kind of like tripping up on themselves and stuff, and they were just looking like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? And yeah, it's just a lot of whipping into shape that Coach and Ariel are gonna have to do. So we're still on the lookout for that new member of Team Spirit. So Katrina, how did you feel about that segment and just the overall funny goofiness of it all? And how do you feel, what do you think Coach Campanelli is looking for in terms of a new member of Team Spirit?
I think coaches just want somebody that's going to help them win. I think that was always her biggest thing. Even when Randy was there, even when Ariel first joined, it was always about what can we do? What advice can I give you? What set goals do I can I give to make sure we win? And I feel like that's what she's looking for. I did like that it was a more of a fun segment because sometimes it feels like coach is always trying to keep it so business, business, business. And so it was nice to see. Personally, I would have probably failed trying to do a split as well because I can't. I'm not that flexible. Well, not in that way, at least. And so it's just not my vibes. And so I probably would have failed completely as well. And so I did laugh because I'm like, oh, that would be me, like trying to split and being mad, just looking real bad. So looking real rough for me if I was trying to split. And so the fact that they had that, it kind of shows a different side, not too serious of her, but also I can get that she clearly wants somebody that's going to make it where they can get back to wherever she's trying to get back to, whether that's a tag champion again, if that's the best faction in WoW, if that's even her making it to a title run with her girls in the back. I think that's what her ultimate goal is, and so I think that's what she's looking for.
Yeah, definitely. She's looking for somebody who has that winning attitude. And of course, you can't fight against that. But of course, the other women are just, they're just trying their best to prove themselves, as you do when you're in an audition process or you're going out for anything like a job or whatever. You're just trying to do your very best to just express that you are the one that she's looking for. So of course, in the coming weeks, we will see more of what's going to happen with them and that. So it's just really a really funny part of the show. And I just can't wait to see how it grows and who they eventually pick. Like, it's going to be funny. So match number 2 was Gloria Glitter versus Chantilly Chella. And this match was probably one of my favorites of the night. Like, this was fantastic. Like, these women gave each other everything because of course Gloria Glitter is new to WoW and Chantilly Chella is a pillar of WoW at this point that we're sort of used to seeing fight against the best of the best, with her peppy attitude and her amazing jacket. And it's just with her and her kickboxing background, she's just a very electric performer. But the thing about Gloria Glitter is she's really electric as well in the idea that she likes to hit you hard, but then her athleticism is pretty on par with someone like a Chantilly Chella as well. And when you combine those two things together, baby, you get a match. Okay? This match was fan freaking tastic. Like, they locked up and then Gloria, tripped up Chantilly Chella, with a toe hold, and then Chella kipped up while breaking Gloria's wrist lock, and then they had a headlock to Gloria, and then Chantilly leaped over Gloria and then hit an arm drag and then tried for another arm drag. But Gloria blocked her and then reversed it. And then they gave a series of pins and a series of blows and a whole lot of flexibility in one spot. And there was just so much speed between the both of them that it was just hard for me to even keep up. Like, in my notes, I just had to write speed. They were speed, like Lightning McQueen in here. Like, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy just how amazing that they were and how athletic they were throughout this whole match. Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, Gloria was just hitting Chantilly with all types of kicks and strikes and shoulder thrusts. And Chantilly Chella hit a sunset flip pin, and then Gloria, fell, like, tried to lock her into like a full Nelson with a face crusher afterward. Like, these women were giving each other everything, and this was definitely one of my favorite matches of the night. But ultimately, Gloria Glitter wound up winning the match with the aerobic annihilator. And this was her first WoW victory. Like, this is the first match she has ever won. And the fact that it was such a hard fought victory is something that she should be proud of. And it's definitely something Chantilly should be proud of too. This is probably one of the best matches we have seen Chantilly do, since we have started watching this iteration of WoW. Because I know she's been on the others before, but this match was a freaking amazing. Like, Gloria Glitter had unique backbreakers and all of the above, and then Chantilly tried to hit like a spinning back kick to knock her out towards the end of the match. Like, it was good. Like, it was really athletically substantial. Like, it was fantastic. So, Katrina, how did you feel about this match, and how do you feel about Gloria Glitter getting her very first WoW victory here?
I thought, as you said, this was definitely probably my favorite match of the night. Honestly, I thought it was really high, like paced, high action. And I love Chantilly, but I do feel like this was probably one of the matches that she really had to like really go. And you have somebody like a Gloria who, even though she hasn't won before this match, she's pretty much given her like her A game. It's just she was kind of always came up short. And so the kind of have to do this to get a win, it's like, well, man, like that speaks to like I'm trying to make sure I don't lose again. And I think that's kind of what helped her kind of just move it over a little bit on the side. But that's nothing against Chantilly. I think she still really fought hard. But with regards to the fact that Gloria has like missed all the wins in her last matches, and she's been on quite a few times since her debut. I think she did need the win. I do think this is something that Chantilly, it's not going to necessarily hurt her to lose this, but I do think she did fight hard. She did. But Gloria, good for her. I think that she really, again, if even with her being like the whole 80s exercise fitness instructor vibes, I like that her in ring is such a contrast to that. It's like she seems like, yeah, I'm gonna be the one, happy, smiling, drinking a bottle of water with a headband and wiping the sweat. And then it's literally very hard hitting when she's in the ring. And I think that's such a good contrast. And as I said previously, I'm really looking forward to more and more of her in WoW.
Me too. Like, I just cannot get over her. I don't think I'll ever be over Gloria Glitter at this point, because she's just, I feel like ever since she started, even in her losing efforts, she continues to look like sharp and clean with all of her transitions into things, and just with how, amazing she is, with blocking moves and actually studying the way that her opponents move in the ring and being able to, block it off, or like match them with wits or match them with quickness and stuff like that. And I just can't get enough of her. Like, I just cannot wait to see more of what she has to offer. Like, I feel like, and I know me and my boyfriend, joke about this a lot, and he's not watching right now, I don't think, but I feel like Gloria Glitter could be a future Wild World Champion. Like, with the way that she's popping off in her first season on WoW, Miss Ma'am could very well be a champion in the future, because she just has it. Like, everything is just clicking for her already. And because it's clicking for her already, you can either continue that momentum, or rest on your laurels, or continue to, climb up the ladder and, get better. And I feel like she's one of the type of athletes who you could imagine would just continue to get better and be sharper in their abilities. And I just can't wait to see her growth. But Chantilly did a phenomenal job in the match as well. I definitely recommend, if you did not watch this whole episode, to watch that match, because it was fantastic. Go on YouTube, watch that match, and get into it. That match is what women's wrestling is made of. It was fantastic. But of course, Gloria Glitter got the win here in her first WoW victory, so congratulations to her for that. So, match number 3, this was my second favorite match of the night. Okay, women's wrestling has just been popping off, y'all. It was Exodus versus Keta Rush. And of course, Exodus came out with Ice Cold and Genesis, who we previously mentioned in WoW News. She was out there, and of course, they've been, dealing with some communication issues and some frustrations with each other. But of course, Keta is out here, and she's motivated to work up to the point to challenge for the Wild World title the same way everybody else seems to be. And this match was fire because on commentary they did mention that Exodus and Keta both have, a background in mixed martial arts. And this was on display here. This was on display, and I absolutely loved it. Like in this match they had respect for each other, but they tore the house down. Hey Roderick, thank you for watching on YouTube. But yeah, like this match was freaking fire. Like Keta went in for a waist lock. Like Exodus broke it by twisting on her wrist, but then Keta bumped Exodus, and then snap Mariner forward, and then she hit a crucifix pin attempt. Like there were a lot of moves that Keta hit that I had never seen her hit before. Like she was just like clicking real hard in this match, and I was just like, Keta, where has this Keta been? Where has this Keta been? Like, I need this Keta all the time, every day. I need it in my veins. Like, Exodus and Keta, like, were reversing pins back and forth. Like, there was of course, this submission that she did with her legs, and she was rolling Exodus around the ring, like, upside down, like, in, like, a wheel motion. It was so funny. Like, it reminded me of Charlotte Flair, because I believe I've seen her do that before, like, thousands of times, but just to see Keta do it was just really cool. And then Exodus was applying pressure to Keta's neck with her hands, and then she was pulling on her arm in the rope and just destroying her multiple times, and she was elbowing her down. But then Keta used her core strength, to also kick Exodus on the top rope and everything. And I was just like, y'all ladies are really getting it. And they were striking each other and hitting each other like super hard. Like it was just a really good match. And what was so funny is towards the end of the match, freaking Keta had locked in I think it was, hold on, she locked in a submission, and when it looked like Exodus tapped out, it was like Keta's shoulders were on the mat, but then she lifted one of her shoulders. So technically, she had won the match because Exodus tapped out. Now, this is what's happening in my view, but on their view, they called the match a draw, which upset me because I'm just sitting here like, referee, don't you see that Keta's right shoulder was up, which means that she was not getting pinned? Hello. That's what was going on. That match was not a draw. It should not have been listed as a draw because Keta's shoulders were up and Exodus tapped out. Period. But they went ahead and called it a draw. They made it a whole thing, and that's what it was. But after the match was over, Exodus and Genesis had a come to Jesus moment, and they had a little bit of an argument after that. And Exodus was just like, why are you, showing sportsmanship to Keta? Like, that's not what Exile is about. You should have just ended her and just beat up on her, and that was it. But Genesis said, look, I can do better than Keta in my sleep. Tell Exodus to watch my match with Jessie Jones next week, and then you'll see how you're supposed to perform. And clearly, the communication issues are continuing with Exile. So this was crazy. This match was amazing, but at the same time, Keta should have won. She really should have been listed as the winner because her shoulder was up. But whatever. Katrina, how did you feel about this match? And was this like a highlight match for you just like the other one was? Or, how did you feel about it?
I think it was solid. I mean, I enjoyed what both ladies did. I still think the second match was my favorite match. I think maybe because it was just really high energy, but also kind of aggressive as well. But this was really well done, and I have to agree with regard to Keta. I've been, where was this before? Because like, ma'am, there was matches she was having recently. I'm like, all right, sis, like let's get this together. You ain't an OG for nothing, like you're not an OG in the wrestling ring for nothing. There's a reason you are, and like, why are we not bringing this type of like attitude going in other matches? And so it was really good to see, or maybe it was just like she felt she needed to with her opponent. As we know, that squad in general just was pretty into submission type, ground and pound type wrestling, and maybe she realized I got to kind of step it up on this. I do agree. I do think that Keta won this. I don't know how the referee didn't magically see that. And then it makes me question again, is, do people, the referees and WoW, do I need some glasses? Do I need to check an eye chart so we all on the same page? Because I don't know how there was any confusion in that. I thought it was very clear, honestly, that Keta won that, but here we are with it being a draw, which means Keta didn't get that definite win, even though she should have. But again, I do think in regards to it being a very solid match, it definitely was. You know, Exodus bringing what we've known them to pretty much, bring in Exile in general, but also, Kita kind of like digging back into what we first saw her. And while that was like, okay, sis, she brought that back out, and it was really, really, really good to see. And I hope she does it going forward, more going forward.
Yeah, me too. Cause she was popping off, and I don't know if it was because both of she felt like she really had to bring her A game because both of them do have MMA background or what. But my thing is, why don't you bring that background with everybody? Like I know every opponent does not have the same wheelhouse as you or the same arsenal as you, but bring that same intensity. Like bring that same intensity to all your other matches. Like Kida was amazing. Like I just want to see more of that, of her going forward. And honestly, she should have gotten a win. Like I don't know what be going on with these referees. Like no shade to them because I've never refereed before in my life. So that's not something that I can, say that, oh well I could do this or da da da. Like I'll never do that. But at the same time, I saw what I saw, and what I saw was Kita's shoulder up. And because her shoulder was up, like she should have got the win. But either way, I do find it funny that Exodus, was showing her sportsmanship and being nice about it other than being vicious about it, and how Genesis was upset. And I'm just like, Genesis, you ain't got to be mad at her about it. You ain't got to be disrespectful and say that you will perform better than Exodus, in your match next week, because you are performing next week against a hungry Jessie Jones. And when Jessie Jones is hungry, she is either going to knock you down or go hunting, and she is clearly in the mood for both. So however you think you about to perform, you might need to scratch that out and make another plan. Cause Jessie Jones is coming for your head next week. So I'm gonna need for her to chill and not just think she's just gonna run through her like that. Like calm down. And then to try to make it seem like you're better than your exile sister, like that really sucked too. I was just like, okay, Genesis. Okay, girl. Let's see how this is gonna work. Let's see how this is gonna work. But yeah, like this was my second favorite match of the night. And honestly, high praise, high praise, high praise, because it was good. So after that little encounter with Exodus and Genesis, and not Leviticus and Numbers. I'm sorry, y'all. That was that was just an easy joke to make. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a Bible kid. Sorry. All right. Lana Starr cut a promo talking about how she was looking down on Jessie Jones, and she called Princess Aussie crazy for her championship challenge idea. And she basically said that Penelope Pink will beat everyone and bring Glory back to the Fab Four and everything else like that. So that was pretty much it for that. And then of course, they made the official announcement that the Championship Challenge match will be taking place next weekend, and it will be Princess Aussie versus the Beast versus Penelope Pink and versus blank at this point. Well, no, versus Tormenta versus blank at this point, because of course, if Jessie Jones beats Genesis, she will get put in the match. So that's what we have for a championship challenge match. I'm not gonna lie, I understand the point of which Princess Aussie was making with creating that match, but I would have liked it better if the match included people who didn't already have another chance. Like I would have preferred for her to have fought the Beast one-on-one and then just fought other newer people before we get Tormenta and Penelope Pink back in the groove of things. But, I'm not the booker. I'm not the person planning this. Princess Aussie didn't ask me. So let me chill. So, Katrina, how do you feel about the championship challenge match and the people chosen to participate in it?
I mean, I'm okay with it, I guess. I do think that, Princess Aussie's gonna do what she needs to do, but I'm okay with it because I like when Penelope was champion, and I like Penelope, but I felt like a lot of the matches was really because they made sure she didn't have to defend it too many times, so she didn't have to put herself in situations that it was possible for her to lose a belt. And so I do like that they're like, okay, let's try this option for this, and I do like that aspect, and so I'm okay with it actually.
Okay. Well, I guess maybe it's just because I'm just really picky like that. Like, I hope that Princess Aussie, does come out with the win so she can keep, challenging people who haven't, had an opportunity at the title because by all means, Adriana Gambino could have a chance. Like, Gigi Gianni could very well have a chance. Like, there are a lot of people who deserve an opportunity, like Keta Rush and so many other people who could have an opportunity at the Wild World title outside of the regular people that we see always in contention for it. But they do have Jessie Jones as a possible. So I do look forward to seeing how she performs in the match. But I hope Princess Aussie does retain, even though you have the Beast in there and then everybody else in there. Like, that's crazy. But she's been in crazy situations before and came out on top. So we believe in Princess Aussie up in here. On Steph and Cat Talk. Wow. So this leads us to our main event. This was, of course, the revenge match with Miami Sweet Heat, the Carlson sisters, versus Big Rig Betty and Holly Swag, the Mother Truckers. Now, of course, Lana Starr came out there with them, so shenanigans were afoot. And yeah, this match was pretty fantastic in terms of tag team work as well. The Mother Truckers seemed incredibly focused on getting their revenge. They ran slap out there ready to fight. Like, they did not do their entrance or nothing, none of their honk honk. None of that was going on here. They came ready to fight and they beat up on the Carlson sisters for the good chunk of the match. And then there was a point where they were isolating Holly Swag and beating up on her constantly. And even, you know, yelling at and doing like all kinds of insults at Big Red Betty, like, huh, look at us beat up your little girl, huh? You like that? You like that? And I was just like, y'all so extra. Now, when Big Red Betty get in there and beat y'all tail, I don't feel sorry for y'all, and I didn't. So I never feel sorry for the Fab Four. So they literally, once she was able to tag in her mama was in there with the quickness, beating up on them and utilizing her quickness and her, kicking and all of the above to get the upper hand on the Carlson sisters. And they wound up with the win. So the Mother Truckers got their revenge and beat up on the Carlson sisters, and they were very victorious and they were happy about it, and they celebrated with a honk honk. And it was really cool to see the stunner that they hit onto one of the twins. It was just really an amazing match. I liked it a lot, and I'm glad that they got their vengeance. So the Mother Truckers were on top. So Katrina, how did you feel about this main event, and were you happy to see the Mother Truckers get their revenge against the Carlson twins and Lana Starr?
No, it was a good main event. I enjoyed it, and it was kind of, again, no shade to the twins, but it was kind of nice to see, like, for once, you kind of had a situation that outside of the Tongas where they didn't really have the upper hand in this match. It felt like even though the Miami Sweet Heat did, what they could in the match, I felt like the Mother Truckers literally just kind of had their card in this, and I felt considering everything that the Miami Sweet Heat has been involved, the Fab Four has been involved. This was well due justice. I was perfectly fine with this just being the way it was. Uh and I'm hoping, like, just even, you know, going forward, that we even get something past this. Like, what else can we get with the Mother Truckers now that they got their revenge on, Miami Sweet? I feel like there shouldn't be anything else for them to do with them, because they finally got the upper hand and they did it, correctly, and there was no shenanigans from anybody else in the Fab Four. Lana Star didn't pop out in any capacity. Nobody did anything. They got this fair and square. And I feel like, so this is a good way to end that. And so I'm interested to see. And why I did say I was kind of glad that Miami Sweet Heat also moved away from the Tonga Twins. There are still plenty of other tag teams and WoW that they can divvy up and play around with now with Miami Sweet Heat, but also the Mother Truckers. And so I'm interested to see now what we're going to get next for both teams going forward.
Yeah, I'm interested too. I can't really wait to see what else is going to happen with them because the Mother Truckers really haven't challenged for the Wild Tag Team Championships, have they? Since we've been watching. Yeah, it would be nice to see them actually do that, considering they do, operate really well. And I would love to see, how the mother daughter chemistry goes up against the twin sister chemistry. That would be really cool to see. But yeah, Miami Sweet Heat seems to be on the struggle bus now but then again, they're on the struggle bus of their own making because, of course, when you bully somebody and, treat somebody like trash, that only means that bad energy is going to come back to you. So honestly, I don't feel sorry for them at all because y'all were the ones who actually tied up Holly Swag and well didn't tie up Holly Swag. Y'all beat up on Holly Swag and then handcuffed her mom and made her watch. Like, what type of BS is that? Like, that was horrible and y'all deserve to get y'all butts beat. So yeah, I don't feel sorry for them. Just like I won't feel sorry for Penelope Pink when she loses the championship challenge match this weekend. But let's not, get ahead of ourselves. So of course, next this coming weekend, we will be having that championship challenge match between Tormenta, Princess Aussie, the Wild World Champion, Penelope Pink, the Beast, and maybe Jessie Jones if she can defeat Genesis in the same night. So those are the matches that we have announced. And I believe Adriana Gambino will be fighting too. But I can't remember who she's going to be fighting, but I did see it posted, so I can't remember. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty solid episode. And of course, we will be back here on Monday, unless otherwise stated, to talk about the last episode of WoW. So thank you guys so much for watching us on all of our live platforms on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And just continue to support us and like, share, and subscribe to both of our channels, In Cat We Trust and the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. And continue to support us in our wrestling careers and also support WoW Superheroes. Of course, this year has been very successful for them, and we want them to continue their success as an all women's brand on television. So get those ratings up, keep watching them, tell your friends, to if whether they're into wrestling or not into wrestling, to get into it and watch something. If they want to watch something female centered and female led, they can watch it there. They can watch it on their cable provider. Of course, if they go on wowe.com and look up their channel and where they're located to see where it comes on for them, or you can watch it on Hulu or on YouTube the Monday after the weekend it airs. So yeah, get into it, y'all. So Katrina, thank you as always for joining me every night, and just tell everybody where they can find and follow you and what you've got going on.
You can find me on most social media in Cat We Trust, Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter to Easy3. Follow my channel. I have a whole bunch of different things on there. If you like, I feel like there's a good range, wrestling, anime, horror, all that good stuff, reviews, all that's on there. I did just do two NXT deadline prediction shows, literally two. And so definitely go check out the homie Steve's SCW wrestling channel YouTube, as well as True Heel Heats podcast. I've gave some similar but slightly different because the time passed and I changed my mind a little bit. And so definitely go check that out. And Tuesdays, catch me and Shay over on Body Slam to talk the Meta 2 after show NXT show. And as always, on Mondays, catch me and Steph, normally talking WoW.
Absolutely. Katrina is everywhere, y'all. She works really hard, guys. It's really great. And also check out her articles on Daily DDT because she's a phenomenal writer. So please check out her work there as well. And of course, you can follow me, your girl Stephanie Hardy, on Instagram, Twitter/X, and Threads at Queen Steph Hardy. You can also follow the Hardy Wrestling Podcast on Instagram at Hardy Wrestling Podcast and on Twitter at Hardy Wrestle Pod, and subscribe to the network at the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. I'm looking to get my subscribers up, for the year. It's really great. We've made lots of good strides, and we're also making strides in, trying for things that we haven't really tried before. But I'm really happy about it, and I'm really excited about, what could happen or what it even means to just be able to try. So I love that and take that, take advice from that if you will, glean from it what you will, but yeah, you have to try for things, or else you just won't know what is possible. So just try for those. And also read my articles on Daily DDT. Read my new one on Seth Rollins and why I feel CM Punk could take away the World Heavyweight Championship from him, as well as my other work on Daily DDT as well. And check out my new Hardy Wrestling Podcast episode, Hometown Glory, where I talk about everything I enjoyed in wrestling last week and my Survivor Series experience. And also check out my special episode on the return of CM Punk, and just continue to support the brand and support me in my wrestling journey as well. And just continue to support this show because we are making strides. And of course, this has been Steph and Cat Talk Wow on the Hardy Wrestling Podcast and In Cat We Trust. And until next time, have a good Wow Wednesday. Bye.